The Man with the Yin-Yang Eyes. Season 2. Episode 9. What exactly is the other case? I ask. I have confidential data here. I asked for instructions from my superiors and brought them here. You can check it out before we go to the scene. After a long sleep, I also pulled my energy back a bit. The next evening, I call Officer Valentine, saying that I wanted to have a little information before accepting to help investigate the case. Anyway, I hope you will help us solve this case. The consequences of the case are not small at all. Many people have died. When she gave me the documents, the policewoman spoke in a very serious voice. Hey, wait, we couldn't just standing here. At least find a decent place. I know there is a restaurant. The food there is quite good, come with us. Go there and then freely discuss. Before I could receive the case file, Big D quickly grabbed it first. He wants to play the flirting game again. Let's go, let's go. A hungry belly has no ears. After saying that, he put his arm around my shoulders and pulled me away. Seeing that the policewoman was still standing there and refused to go, he persuaded her all the way. She finally had to follow. Here, give me this, and this too. I glanced at the corner of my eyes. Over half of the items on the menu, and Big D will pay for it today. Big D, are you not afraid to eat too much at night and cannot sleep? Why do you order so much? How much money is it? I turned to whisper to him. Well, I'm worried about Big D's stomach and wallet at the same time. Today I treat, Miss Valentine, don't be shy, eat to your heart's content. This restaurant is such a famous place, and I only brought even Gregory here for the first time. Oh really? It looks like Big D has a lot of money, doesn't he? Why do I find it hard to breathe? One side is full of love, and the other side is full of gunpowder. Is the money coming from your exorcism work, or is it from smuggling antiques? It seems that this beautiful policewoman is quite annoyed with Big D's flirting, making fun of her every time. Thus, Big D's quest to win the woman's heart seems difficult. What is this smuggling? Joking like that will make me panic. I only do business. Oh yeah, you two people, please talk. I have to go to the bathroom. Even though Big D denied it, I see a thick layer of sweat on his forehead. So why he goes to the bathroom right now, isn't that kind of change the subject on her? After Big D left, Miss Valentine took the confidential file and pushed it towards me. I hesitated for a few seconds and finally opened it. When I first saw the pictures inside, I was shocked. All of the victims in the photo were completely burned, making it difficult to distinguish them. On the skull, there was almost a hint of panic and surprise. This is the case I told you about. There were a series of people burned to death. The police also investigated the scene carefully 2 or 3 times but still could not detect whether this was a suicide or attempted murder. There was no trace of it. So we began to wonder if this is man-made or not. When I finished reading, the fear also faded. The policewoman continued to talk about the previous investigation direction. When I look at these photos, I also get the feeling that these crimes are not entirely man-made. In the past, when I followed my master, I also encountered a few similar cases. That's why we need your help, and we still have to give the victim an answer anyway. Actually, I think all cases have deep roots related to someone behind the curtain, but mixed in there will be related to spirituality. The food is here. Sorry to keep you waiting so long. After all, Miss Valentine said goodbye to me and told me that she had work to do at the police station, so she left first. Just then, the waiter brought the food in. I tried to invite her to eat with us, but I couldn't, so I let her go. Unfortunately, it looks like Big D will be disappointed this time. I was alone, looking at a table full of food. The food looks great and smells delicious, but I don't know why I don't want to eat it. I just want to go home to study the files and take an extra nap before rushing into the case. Oh, is Miss Valentine gone? Why don't you keep her? She has an urgent business, so she refuses to stay. Oh, okay, then we eat. Where are you going? Stay and eat. Big D seems to want to stay longer to solve the hearty food table, but I did not. On the contrary, I firmly want to go. Hey, you haven't eaten yet. So why are you all leave? Ah yes. Can you pack it for me? Big D saw me leaving and hurriedly ran after me. The restaurant manager saw that we hadn't moved our chopsticks, but came back and called after us. Big D asked the restaurant to pack the food and bring it back with him. Seriously, even I've been here since forever, I've only been to that restaurant a few times. I did spend so much money today to invite my precious friends, but no one wants to eat. It's really frustrating. Big D brought along boxes of food from the restaurant, whining as he walked. I listened to him the whole way home, and my ears were ringing. That night I studied the case file and fell asleep at some point. Then, in the morning, I saw Big D sitting at the dining table. In his hand was a big lobster we brought home yesterday. It's still early in the morning, but why do you eat so many heavy foods? Are you not afraid of hurting your belly? I saw that he was so enthusiastic, so I got excited to tease him a bit. I have to go to the crime scene today. I said. Today? Wait for me, I want to go too. When Big D heard that I wanted to go to the crime scene, he quickly dropped the lobster in his hand and ran after me. Ah, hello, Miss Valentine. Good morning. That beautiful policewoman has been waiting for us. Surely this is not the first time you are investigating these extraordinary murder cases, are you? Are there any psychological obstacles? This is the first time I see a dead body, and I'm a little nervous. I still didn't say anything yet, but Big D already said it instead. This guy. We walked for about 20 minutes to get there. The first scene was a house in an old apartment complex. Strangely, the fire did not affect the old apartment in the slightest, and if saying this is normal, none shall ever believe that. Wait a minute. After the elevator reached the victim's floor, I saw the fat guy hurrying out and stopped him. Is something wrong? This is a house where there are murdered people, so beware of being haunted. I'm half joking, but I see Big D was a bit annoying. Is it true? Of course it's true. Why must I lie to you? So, do you see something? It's okay, I see nothing, and I don't have any strange feelings. Let's go. This fat guy is really a coward. I just want to tease him a bit, but it seems he is scared to death. We quickly found the apartment where the victim lived. Does the dirty thing follow us? I do not know. Don't be like that. Take down your glass and observe. Please. Big D followed closely behind me, trembling while walking. The front of the victim's apartment door was sealed. Miss Valentine opened the seal a little to let us in. It is here. Why do I feel so cold? I lowered my glasses to observe. After taking off my glasses, I looked around. Did you see anything? Surrounded by scorched pieces, there were traces of fire everywhere. The police also draw white chalk on the floor to signify. I looked around for a while when Big D asked to break the silence. Not yet. Or are the souls of the dead not here? From time to time, Big D comes up with some good ideas. Indeed, that I can collect no more information here. I went around looking a few more times, but it was okay. Not a single worthwhile find could be found here. Let's go to the bedroom and the rest. There's nothing here. Okay, let's go. It looks like the policewoman is also very impatient either. Still no findings? She asks. There are none. Strangely, I searched the house, but my eyes didn't detect anything. Hey, Gregory? Do you remember the previous cases? When you touched the soul of someone, you could see a part of their memories before they died. So, Is it possible to do that when you touch their body? The atmosphere was somewhat heavy, then suddenly Big D gave a not so bad idea. I'm not sure, I've never tried it. If you haven't tried it, try it now, it's okay. If we don't succeed, we will find another way later. Big D said as he pushed Miss Valentine and me to the car. We went to the hospital where the first victim's body was stored. After arriving, the three of them went inside. Miss Valentine said something to the securities, and then a hospital employee led us to the morgue. The body was very badly burned. It was even scarier than in the pictures. You have to prepare yourself mentally. Mortuary staff carried out the removal of the body. Miss Valentine told me to prepare myself mentally. I'm a bit scared too. The morgue staff brought the body out after a while of struggling. Me and Big D approached together. Although I was warned when I saw the corpse's condition, Big D and I both turned pale. Our facial muscles constricted, showing our fear. The corpse was destroyed with almost only bones left, and even the bones were burned black. A stench hit our noses. I have to go to the bathroom for a while. Luckily I haven't eaten anything this morning, or else I would have vomited a bunch. But Big D is not so lucky. This morning he ate a lot. I saw him quickly cover his mouth and run out. I've let you see this embarrassing situation. I looked at Big D until he disappeared. Then looked at Miss Valentine again. Truly a professional police officer, her face was calm and without any color change. Hurry up and get to work. Oh, okay, let's begin. I was a little embarrassed, but Miss Valentine didn't seem to care much either. Instead, she urged me to touch the body quickly. I used one hand to cover my eyes. With another trembling hand, I touched the corpse. That's terrible. I don't want to touch it. But as soon as I touched the corpse, a strange feeling came. One by one, blurry images began to appear before my eyes, and then they gradually became clearer, which proved that we had succeeded. I saw a big fat man sitting watching TV at night. What the hell is that? He was watching a movie when suddenly a red flame appeared in the room. Surprised, he stands up to see what was happening. The fire was getting bigger and bigger, gradually gathering into a human form, causing the big fat man to run away, screaming while running. But he hadn't called out a few times when the other thing caught up with him, and it reached out its flaming hand towards him. Then, the other hand touched the big fat man, causing his whole body to burn. Despite crimson flames gradually burning him, the man can only remain silent. He cannot scream or move, only his twisted face shows the horror and pain of being burned alive. I seem to feel the same pain as the fat man. I feel so hot, so painful that I have to scream. At that moment, Miss Valentine grabbed my shoulder and called out to me. "Are you okay? What did you see?" I stood dumbfounded for a few minutes. Then Miss Valentine broke the silence. At this point, I also recovered. I saw a man fat was burned by a flame that has a human form. I began to recount what I had seen earlier. So we have a lead on this case. Let's get out of here first. Why are you two out here? How's it going? On the hospital corridor, we meet Big D walking from the toilet towards the morgue. Oh, yeah, it's burned to death. When I heard Big D ask, I hesitated for a moment and then said a somewhat meaningless sentence. I am still confused by what I have just seen and felt. Oh, I know it's burned to death, but who burns them? What did you see? Quickly tell me. Where are you two going? Big D saw us moving quickly and quickly ran after us, asking all sorts of questions while walking. But right now, we were both lost in our own thoughts, neither of us answering him. Miss Valentine took us to a restaurant near the hospital to talk, but neither of us spills out a word. She ordered us 2 portions of steak, 7 parts cooked. Normally we all love steak, but today looking at the half-roasted meat with a little bit of red made us want to vomit. Why don't you eat? I treat you too today. What are you worried about? Ah yes, we ate right away. Oh my gosh, it's the first time I've eaten such a hard meal. You two say something. What do you think about the other case? The people who were burned to death were employees of a black credit lending company. Most likely, the flame came to take revenge. Miss Valentine ate while analyzing the case with us. But we still don't know who the person that becomes the flame of vengeance is. This case is still very troublesome. Then why don't you try touching the remaining corpses? Maybe there's a new clue. Suddenly Big D said something that made the hairs on my neck shiver. Just so, you go to touch the remaining burned corpse to see what information we can get from them. It's the first time I've seen the two of them get along so well. This juxtaposition makes me shiver. After saying that, they both stared at me with sly faces. I'm scared. If I don't agree, it won't be done with them. This meal is really hard to eat.